Hello everyone. Today is a follow to other previous videos that we uploaded that talks about the matter. I'll be talking today about the changes that the matter undergoes. Also, I'll be talking about how to measure the matter. First, the properties of matter. If I looked at the matter, it either have physical properties or chemical properties. If I want to study the physical properties, I can study the physical properties without altering or changing the composition of the material, while studying the chemical properties would change the composition of the material. Examples for some of the physical properties is the boiling point, the color of the material, the melting point. As for chemical properties, similar to that, if I try to study the properties of iron, this means I need to react iron with oxygen to be able to study what happens after this reaction, and I study the chemical change of the iron into iron oxide. If I want to look at the physical properties, it's either extensive properties or intensive properties. The extensive properties doesn't depend on how much material is considered. Similar to that, studying the mass or volume. This means if I have water, if I have 1 liter of water, it is not similar to 2 liter. As for intensive properties, it is not dependent on how much matter being considered, which means it is not non-additive properties. Similar to that, density and temperature. If I looked at one example, if I looked at water, the boiling point of water is actually 100 degrees centigrade for 1 liter. It is also 100 degrees centigrade for 2 liter, which means the quantity of water doesn't affect the boiling point of water. So I can measure the physical properties. If I measure it directly, I can measure it directly in case if I have macroscopic material. But if I have very small material, I have to measure it microscopic, and in that case I will use indirect methods. Similar for the direct method would be studying the volume. If I study the volume, I can use volumetric flask. And if I want to study the mass, I can use a balance. When I express any physical property, I express it as a number and a unit. Some of those units is actually international system of unit is used to express most of the substance, and it is agreed that any other units would be can be driven from those units. If I looked at the unit of length would be meter, and the symbol would be m. The mass, the unit is the kilogram, and the symbol is kg. The time is measured in second, and the symbol is S. Electric current is measured in ampere, and the symbol is A. The temperature in Kelvin, and the symbol is K. The amount of substance in mole, and the symbol is MOL. Luminosity intensity is measured in candela, and candela symbol is CD. If I looked at another two properties, the mass and weight, there is a difference between the mass of an object and its weight. For the mass, It is a measure of the amount of matter in an object. The measure of the amount of matter it is not dependent not dependent on the location, which means the mass of an apple on Earth is the same as the mass of an apple on the moon. As for the weight, is the force that gravity exerts on an object. The force that gravity on an object. Weight is dependent on the location. This means the weight of an apple on Earth would be different from its weight on the moon. The unit of mass is kilogram, and 1 kilogram is equal 1000 gram, which is equal to 10 to the power 6 milligram, while the weight is equal to the gravity multiplied to the mass of the object. The gravity is known to be 9.8 meter per second square. This, if it is multiplied by mass, this means the unit would be kilogram meter per second square, which is equal to Newton. Another extensive property is the volume. The volume is the amount of space that a substance or object occupies or enclosed within. If I looked at this cube, this means the material that inside this cube. If I looked at the material inside this cube, this would be my volume. The volume can be expressed in 3 units. In cubic centimeter, and 1 cubic centimeter is actually equal 10 to the power minus 2 cubic meter. Or it can be expressed in liter, and 1 liter is equal 1000 cubic centimeter. The third unit is the milliliter, and 1 milliliter is equal to 10 to the power minus 3 liter. This means 1 milliliter is actually equal to 1 cubic centimeter by 262 and plus 32, which is equal to 504 Fahrenheit. For number B, the temperature in Kelvin would be equal to 273.15 plus 262, which is equal to 535 Kelvin, is the density. The volumetric mass density of a substance is the mass per unit volume. The mass, we know that it can be in gram or kilogram. As for the volume, it can be in cubic centimeter, milliliter, or cubic meter. Example: the gold is a precious metal that is chemically unreactive. It is used mainly in jewelry, dentistry, and electronic devices. A piece of gold ingot which have a mass of 301 gram and a volume of 15.6 cubic centimeter. Calculate the density. The density, like we said, is equal to mass over volume. In that case, I have to look at the units and unify my units. For if my unit here in grams, this means my volume should be in cubic centimeter. So if I have the volume in any unit, either but cubic centimeter, I have to convert it back again. So this means 301 divided by 15.6 is equal to 19.3 gram per cubic centimeter. In the next video, I'll be talking about the scientific notation and how to handle numbers. Thank you and goodbye.